One, everybody takes on big things. Don't take on anything big unless you take on something small first. Why? Make big commitments, you don't fulfill it, it becomes big failure. Something small. Not only it's small, it says far, not the small as far as significance, but small as far as really the effort that it requires, at least at first. One, before you do every blessing, think about what you're about to bless. That's it. Very common. The longer you are in the Torah world, the longer you're frum, the longer you're this, the more you become accustomed to the blessings, the more you start blurting out things that you're not even sure what it is. Did I just say Baruch Atah Hashem? Or did I say Baruch? Did I just say, what did I say? What did I just bless? Did I bless? Was that apple? Was it this? Was it that? You forget. Why? Because you got used to things. Before you do it, try 2 seconds, think about what you're going to say. That's one. It's relatively simple. Step further. Before you say the name of Hashem, understand that He's the King of Kings. So you have to make sure that you treat it that way. Best thing to do is to break up every blessing into 3, which forces you to have a small pause, that's a permissible pause, before you say the name of Hashem. Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu Melech HaOlam, Shakol Yamid Varo, or whatever the rest of the blessing is. Break up each blessing into 3. Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu Melech HaOlam, and whatever the rest of the blessing is. That way, forces you to slow down a little bit. Now you're thinking, how the hell did we go from kafakela, fire, brimstone? This guy's talking about blessings. What are you talking about? I'll tell you what I'm talking about. Says Rabbi Chaim Volozhin. Rabbi Chaim Volozhin knows a lot more than I do. The fundamental and the most fundamental and important and critical step needed in order to acquire Ruach HaKodesh is to think about Hashem's name before you say it. That's it. Especially so with the first and the last blessing on food. We're not talking about, oh, this is nice, good to do. Ruach HaKodesh. If a person, he says to such an extent that he learned from his Rav, that if a person thinks about what is he even saying, who is Hashem B'chlal, who am I praying B'chlal, who am I saying this blessing to, every time before he says Hashem's name, and a blessing before he eats food, and the ending blessing, Birkat HaMazon, or the other two, Ala Mechitz, Ala Borei Nefashot, Ala Mechiyah. He thinks about what he's saying, B'chlal. He thinks about Hashem's name. That is the foundation to get to Ruach HaKodesh. Meaning, it seems small, but it's huge. Because if a person can stop themselves to start thinking about Hashem on the things that are very easy to ignore, it becomes easier to think about Hashem in the bigger things. But if a person ignores the smaller things, it becomes easy to ignore the bigger things over time. Why? Because you just get used to ignoring, because the small things is what you do the most often. So, first thing I would recommend is that. Not something everybody could apply. Men, women, children, adults, whatever, everybody could apply it. Simple. Think about Hashem before you say His name. What are you saying? What am I blessing? Am I going to eat a fruit? Am I going to eat a vegetable? Is this birkat hamazon? Is this drink bichlal? What am I doing? Don't be like one of these people that say, did I make a blessing on that? Don't ask other people to count your blessings. Happens a lot. I see it a lot of times. Wait, did I make a blessing on this? I said, I don't know, Habib. I don't know. I wasn't really paying attention to your blessings. Why I'm gonna start quoting Cain. What am I, my brother's keeper? Your brachot's keeper? But it happens. We forget. Why do we forget? Because we've become accustomed to it. We've become accustomed to it, become very, very used to it. And this is something I'm more guilty of than any of you probably. And that's one of the things. Person starts taking something simple like this, he can build on that. 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 He can build on that and start doing bigger, bigger, bigger things. You start that way, you'll start seeing that other things, other gates open, other things open. Why? All of a sudden your learning becomes clear. All of a sudden your prayers become clear. A few people told me that they took the suggestion that I made about when they say Hashem's name during the Amidah, and it changed their Amidah prayer dramatically. Of course, Amidah takes a few more minutes longer, but the significance of their Amidah is much, much better. These are small little things that have huge, huge ramifications in your life. A lot of people want to jump. Right away, do big things. Rabbi, I want to learn Gemara. Did you finish the Chumash yet? No, but I want to learn Gemara. Okay, why are you asking me then? You already decided. Why are you asking me? If you're asking me, don't learn Gemara. Go learn Chumash first. Why? Know basics. Where you came from, who's Avraham Avinu, who's Moshe. Basic things. It's not going to take you that long. You want to jump too far, too high. It's not healthy. And it happens a lot of times with converts, with Baalei Teshuva. They want to jump. They want to go to the end like it's a video game. They want to get to the cheat code to get to the end of the game already. Why are you playing then if you want a cheat code? Life is not a cheat code. The Kadosh Baruch Hu's Avodat Hashem is not a cheat code. A person needs to know, okay, I do every day, every day, every day. Don't expect to be Mashiach. Don't expect to be anything special. Don't expect that the whole world is going to change. Just expect you to change. Every day, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. You'll be surprised. You may end up becoming special. You may end up becoming something really, really good. For who? For everybody that's around you. And that's plenty. That's plenty. Say it's critical for a person to think about the Avodat Hashem in such a fashion where they give themselves things that are achievable. Because that way I know, okay, you know what? I was going to do this year from now on, I'm going to learn 8 hours a day. Last year he learned an hour a day, now he wants to jump to 8 hours a day. Great, Chazaku Baruch that you want to do it, but if you would have asked me, I wouldn't have told you to do it. Why? As much as I would love for you to learn 100 hours a day, not 8 hours. You want to have something that is something you can hold, something you can be consistent with. Not be like one of these fly-by-night people that you go really, really high and then crash. This does not mean that you could just sin and go against the Torah just because you're new. The point is that everybody needs to know how to advance. And these types of things makes a person more careful in their Avodat Hashem, to the point where when I say things like Kafakela or Gehenom or anything like that, you start getting a better understanding of what that tzaddik, Rav Shasale, what he felt. That he was shocked. Why? Because the more careful you are about Hashem's name, the more careful you are about the small things, the more sensitive you become. More sensitive you become about other things. Some people, I say, Gehenom, Kafakela, they're Malachei Kabbalah, gonna rip them apart, do this, and they're like, you realize these are like people, right? You're like you're cheering on like it's a scary movie. That's not a good sign that you're cheering on like it's a scary movie. Like, at some point it's supposed to be like, oh, like, I don't know. You're like, you have to understand, there's certain things that you're supposed to get sensitive on to at certain times. Why are you not sensitive to it? Because you're not sensitive to the small things. You're not sensitive to the small things. When you start becoming sensitive to the small things, you start becoming sensitive to the big things. When everything is like blah, then everything is blah. So that's the thing. Small things, the blessings, first blessing, last blessing, Birkot HaShachar, all these little things, that is attention to small details that B'ezrat Hashem will make us more and more just simply better at serving Hashem, better at connecting to Him, better at being sensitive to all of the things that surround this whole thing, and even better communicators to others. Why? Because if you see your cousin, your friend, your uncle, whoever it is, violating Shabbat, it's no longer going to be a question of, Rabbi, should I tell him something? Because you yourself are already going to be so sensitive to it, you can't tolerate it. You have to say something, directly, indirectly, something. Give him a CD, give him a USB, do something. And that's the thing that we've been lacking for 2,000 years. People that are sensitive to each other. Once we become sensitive to each other, we start caring about his Avodat Hashem, his Avodat Hashem, her Avodat Hashem. Everybody starts caring about each other's servitude of Hashem. Things change. Things can really, really change. And B'ezrat Hashem, we succeed.